Good evening. I'm going to call to order the March 25th, 2025 meeting of Mayor and Council to order. If you'd rise for the invocation by Councilman Holland.
Let's pray. Father God, as we stand before you on this night, we ask for your blessing for this meeting that's held here tonight and the people here in attendance. We pray, ask for your knowledge, wisdom, and that when we need help or advice of God, you put the right people and resources in place to be there to help us. Oh, Father God, that when we leave to go to depart, you bless us with safe trip home to our destination. And we pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. If you remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Are there any changes to the agenda for tonight's meeting?
No, sir, there are not.
Okay. As a reminder, Council will be in executive session following our standard meeting. At this time, I will accept a motion to approve the minutes from our March 11th, 2025 meeting.
Councilman
Go ahead.
McQuillan, so moved.
We have a motion from Councilman Quillen. Do we have a second?
I second the motion.
We have a second from Councilman Bradley. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, passes unanimously.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
please note that I abstained because I was not present.
Noted.
Mr. Mayor, and me also.
Thank
We're all
you.
here. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Thank you for Councilman for the reminder. Okay, we're going to move on to our Chief of Police is here to introduce two new officers, I do believe. Yep.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council,
Evening,
ladies,
Chief.
council
Good
members.
evening, Chief.
Thank you for having us tonight. It's my honor tonight to introduce you to our two recent graduates from the Dover Police Academy. On Friday, March 14th, Kenai Kane and Samuel Brumley graduated, and they got sworn in at the PD by the Vice Mayor on Monday, the 17th of March. And I'd like to have them come up, shake hands, and introduce themselves. So first, we'll start with Officer Brumley. His hair used to be long, curly locks.
Used to be.
Cleaned up a little bit. They're Facebook famous already, I believe. And Officer Kenai Kane. Now, Kenai was a little unique. He ended up having another addition to his family in December, so let's give him a round of applause and congratulations for that. All while attending the State Police Academy. That's dedication. Two great guys, and we're happy to have them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, we're going to move on to public comment. Is there anyone here tonight for public comment?
We have Dr. Faye Powell here for public comment.
Dr. Powell, Dr. Fay?
Good evening. How's everyone?
Good evening.
Good. How are you?
Fine. I appreciate you guys approving the budget for the electric bill. My comment today is that is there other ways besides the internet that we can advertise this, like maybe send flyers out to churches or other community sources so that people will be fully aware of it, because a lot of people may not have the internet, have access to the internet and all those things, so they're going to miss out on this new decision that's been made. So that's what my comment is. Is there any ways that we can really put this out there as feelers for this new approved issue for everyone in the city of Seaford? That's it. I don't have anything else today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else here for public comment?
We have Dan Cannon here for public comment.
Mr. Cannon?
You'll excuse me, I just got off the airplane from the Bahamas, but I just had to come see you tonight. At a 1/10/2023 meeting of Mayor and City Council, City Manager Charles Anderson said that any new water well would, quote, "be near the intersection of Nylon Boulevard and North Poplar Street on the eastern side of Hooper's Landing Golf Course." For years, my wife and I, were left in the dark about these plans until well drilling started on or about 1/30/25. Then weeks passed before city officials finally offered their reasons this location was picked for test wells and a large treatment plant instead of other locations on the western side of Hooper's Landing. Frankly, we find the patched together reasons presented by City Manager Anderson and Director Burley Mears to be at best flimsy and misleading, and at worst unfounded. Consider, unfounded number one. Concerns have been expressed about water contamination, like that which sidelined the Dulaney well on the western side of Hooper's Landing Golf Course. But that's totally unfounded, because while Dulaney and all the other Seaford wells tap the shallow, unconfined Columbia Aquifer, the new test wells will tap the much deeper and confined Chop Tank Aquifer, a proven winner and not subject to shallow water contamination. Further, if new test wells on the Sussex Avenue side of Hooper's Landing prove viable, Mayor and City Council could ignore someone's red herring thoughts about needing to pipe raw water from wells on Nylon Boulevard under the golf course all the way to Sussex Avenue. Flimsy number one. Some may not find it unusual to have a water treatment plant in a residential neighborhood. However, we have noted that all the newest city water wells have not been drilled in residential neighborhoods. And who really thinks an industrial water treatment plant fits in nicely along the golf course on Nylon Boulevard rather than alongside existing golf maintenance sheds on Sussex Avenue? The 2-year information blackout before well drilling, the very recent flimsy and or unfounded reasons for underpinning the project location, and little or no evidence of objective evaluation of strongly credentialed Sussex Avenue drilling sites are clear examples of what we see as faulty city decision-making. Thus, once again, I appear before you to present our offer for Sussex Avenue test well drilling. At this point, we understand that our city has committed approximately $30,000 of grant monies to drill one test well on Nylon Boulevard along the east side of Hooper's Landing. In view of this, on February 18th, my wife and I formally committed On February 18th, my wife and I formally committed to provide our city up to $30,000 to cover verified and reasonable expenses to drill a new test well on Sussex Avenue with the intent to move the treatment plant and wells from Nylon Boulevard to the west side of the golf course, south of the golf maintenance sheds, pending good water results. Obviously, our intent is also to ensure that the city incurs no additional financial risk by doing so. We have yet to hear any response from anyone on this offer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cannon. Is there anyone else here for public comment?
No, there's no one else here for public comment.
All right. We'll move on to our public, excuse me. Is there anybody here for correspondence?
No, sir, we have no correspondence.
Okay. Now we're going to move on to our public hearing at 7:08 p.m.
Good evening, Mayor,
Evening.
Council,
Good
City
evening.
Manager. So the first item on public hearing for this evening is for Sussex County Habitat for Humanity. They're property owners of a lot located on East King Street, tax map and parcels 431-5.00-208.00. They're requesting to subdivide this property into 2 lots for the construction of 2 single-family dwellings. This is the property. It's right behind the Rural Farms. It's vacant land. They actually purchased this property from the city with the intention on making it single-family home lots. So they have submitted a survey showing their proposed subdivision. It is zoned C3 Riverfront Enterprise Zone, which has the same bulk requirements for single-family lots that are off High Street as R2. So they've proposed 2 lots. Lot 1 is 4,704 square feet and 58.11 feet wide, and Lot 2 is 4,784 square feet and 58.10 feet wide. And these do meet the requirements for that C3 zone, which is a minimum of 4,500 square feet and a minimum of 35 feet wide. So it's pretty straightforward there. They're just kind of splitting it right down the middle there, and they're proposing to build very similar homes to what they have built elsewhere in city limits, just little single-family dwellings. And there is a gentleman here from Habitat, Anthony, if there's any questions.
Does the council have any questions or comments for either Mike Bradley or the representatives from Habitat for Humanity? Are there any questions or comments from the public? Okay.
All right. So the second item tonight is O&I Singh LLC. They're the property owner of 22928 Sussex Highway, tax map and parcels 331-5.00-50.08. They're requesting preliminary site plan review for the construction of an eating establishment with a drive-through, associated parking, and utilities. This is the property there, formerly Plaza Tapatia, there in the Seaford Village Shopping Center. So they are proposing to demolish that existing structure and rebuild almost in the same footprint a new restaurant there. It's proposed to be a cookout. They'll have a dual lane drive-through on the southern property line there. They'll rework some of the parking. They'll utilize the same entrances into the shopping center, run new utilities out to the existing taps there that run through the shopping center. There's a little bit better picture here. It's a 3,130 square foot restaurant. They're showing 49 parking spaces, and that meets the code requirement. They're showing a dual lane drive-through, new dumpster enclosure. Like I said, they're maintaining those existing entrances and exits through the shopping center. Requires approvals from DelDOT, State Fire Marshal, and Sussex Conservation. Is there any questions? The engineer, Mike, is also here, and for me, Mike, as well.
Okay. Are there any questions for Mike or Mike from City Council? And comments? Any questions or comments from the public? Okay.
All right, roll on. Third item is for Seaford Industrial LLC, property owner of a parcel of land on Sussex Highway, tax map and parcels 331-4.00-19.00. They're requesting a sketch site plan review for an industrial or business park. I'll go over a little bit of it. Brett Davis is here for the project. He can speak more on it. Right now, it is vacant land, but it's being farmed, and some wooded area in the back there out north of town on Sussex Highway. They have submitted this sketch plan showing a 12-building business park with a mixed use from warehousing to indoor recreation. They're showing 3 additional pad sites along Sussex Highway, a 2-story parking garage, and other paved parking. This will require approvals from DelDOT, Sussex Conservation, and the State Fire Marshal. They're going to break this down potentially into different phases. The green will be the first phase. It'll get all the infrastructure and stormwater in, and 3 of the warehouse buildings there. And then the following phases to follow as they get tenants. This just shows, it's not color, but this shows the first phase. That's all I have. And I don't know if Brett, you want to come up and fill them all in on the rest of the details.
Sure. That's fine.
So, thank you so much. That was a very good summary.
Mr. Davis, would you mind speaking into the microphone? Thank you, sir.
I'll display these to the public shortly. Yep. My name is Brett Davis. I'm one of the partners on the project. So what we're doing,
it is important to know we are asking for approval for a business park, not specifically an industrial park. We have had discussions with the city that at some point, I think a portion of the property, it would make logical sense to talk about rezoning to industrial. But for right now, the property is approved as highway commercial, and our intent is this whole plan makes sense with the current zoning. So tonight, what we're asking for is initial site plan approval. We have begun the process. We're pretty far with DelDOT. We've submitted for Sussex Conservation. And this is one of 3 parks that we're doing. And these parks, we did already receive the site readiness grant, which is pretty awesome, from the state of Delaware. And so what you're looking at here is 106 acres that can be used for a wide variety of things. Our background is in what I would describe as flexible warehouse space. So we're building a park in Dover right now. If you're familiar with the Frankfurt Business Park, that's my partner Travis's. And so what this first phase would encompass is a central corridor that we would ideally like to offer to the city as a public road at some point. And then we would build the entire infrastructure for the entire property. So that means all of the stormwater would be in place, all of the grading, all of the water, sewer, and then electric, and I'll get to internet in a couple minutes. And so that would allow us the ability to then use that space for whatever comes up as the best fit. So we drew some things like pad sites. A sports facility was mentioned. I would love to have further conversations about that. But for right now, the reality is we would be buying this property and we would be building what you see, which is three buildings, approximately 50,000 square feet apiece, 25 feet, 25-foot ceilings, and wide open space in the middle. And then those get built out. A great example of our ideal customer, we just signed a lease on Saturday with a 15,000 square foot international HVAC supplier called Pierce Phelps. They're not building the HVAC there, but they're coming in, they're doing local servicing. They have no Delaware locations, so with that, we were able to bring 15 jobs to the state. That's our customer we see. If we added the industrial component, we could have a wider variety, but right now we'll also be leaving all the land on the highway available for whatever makes most logical sense. There's such a wide variety of uses in our current zoning that we're open to any of those ideas. I think the last thing I wanted to mention, this is just kind of a cool tidbit on the side, is that I actually own a second company called Simple Fiber, and so as part of this plan, we will be locating a very small data center on the site, and we will supply internet to that entire site, and then eventually we'd like to supply internet throughout the city. We are a competitor of Comcast. Some good examples of our customers: I supply Wacomico, Worcester, and Somerset County schools at their internet. And then this Thursday, I'm actually hooking up my daughter's private school, so that's pretty fun too. So we are a big proponent of putting infrastructure in the ground, and that's what you're going to see from us. Is we're not here to dictate what we put on the site. We're going to prep a site, and then whatever demand and whatever the city drives towards us, we're hoping to build that.
Are there any questions from council for Mr. Davis? Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This really doesn't have any bearing on the sketch layout, but is the building profile going to be similar to what you have in Frankfurt?
Yes, I think since Travis and I have met, I think I added a little style to it, so I think it's going to have a little bit more modern touch. Also, these buildings will be our goal is not to have it. The Frankfurt Business Park is built on the highway. We would never put warehouses on the highway. That was a necessity because of his site there. But in all reality here, these will be set back. Imagine like a small pond with a nice water fountain on the and a big monument sign. And then we will keep those pad sites for somebody that ideally, I mean, a hotel is like our dream scenario. Those are the type of users we could see. Also, a parking garage was mentioned. I drew that. I'm an ambitious person. So I'm in no way committing to saying a parking garage definitely makes sense, but we have a vision for a really large sports facility, and that would be the thing we want on the highway and give it that appeal.
So just for my reference and the reference for somebody who might be interested, is that park in Frankfurt, is that where Daikin Comfort is?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
And they're a great example of the type of user I think we can bring. When we were given site readiness, the specific goal of that grant is to bring new jobs to Delaware, and we're not allowed to have leases in place ahead of time. It makes for an interesting grant. So right now, we'll be building all of this on spec, but yeah, those are the exact type of businesses.
Thank you.
Hey, absolutely.
How you doing, Mr. Davis?
Good, how you doing,
I was
Matt?
at the planning and zoning
Yes,
meeting there, and
I remember it was
I really
fun.
enjoyed the conversation we had there that evening.
Thank you, I did as well.
But going back to the Frankfurt Park,
Mm-hmm.
that's been built for, about 2 years now?
That's correct.
Okay, all right, and how,
Parts were older than that, but
yeah,
yeah.
how many buildings are back in there? Do you know offhand?
I believe there's 5 buildings.
5.
They total 220,000 square feet.
Okay, are they fully occupied right now?
They're 100%
So you're
occupied.
100%
And I can give you
occupied. How
another
long-
fun example of one in there is this, there's a sports training facility
Yes,
in there.
I've been in there, yeah.
Yep. So that's another fun one in there.
Yeah, how long did it take to get full occupancy in there?
Travis was managing this. I wasn't involved in that project, so
Just
but
messing with
he was able to fill them before he built them in every single case.
Okay.
Now he occupies he owns a ton of businesses. He probably occupies 40% of the space in that whole complex. But giving you Dover as an example, Dover, we're building 52,000 square feet in the first building. We purchased the property in October. We're hoping to have our final permit this week, and I signed the first 15,000 square foot lease on Saturday. So we're a third occupied, and he hasn't even put a shovel to put a pipe in the ground. But, well, we're under construct, the site work's happening, but he hasn't actually started the building yet, so I'm already a third. So I will usually be able to beat him, is my goal. But we do it in chunks. To be clear, this is a 5 to 10 year project, realistically. It's to give you the scale of this, that you're looking at 1.3 million square feet. We're drawing it as a design, to be clear. If somebody called and said they want 40 acres for soccer fields, if it's the right deal, then we would come back to you and, the flexibility of just, we'll put in the stormwater for the max, but not actually, we're not determining the exact site yet.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
Any additional questions or comments from council?
I did have one last thing I forgot to mention. I'm really sorry. But this is pretty cool that Charles and I have talked about. This is by no means us saying that this is a foregone conclusion, but something we do in our other parks is we put solar on the rooftops. And I want to be clear, this is not a solar field that takes up any space. This is on top of a 25-foot roof. They're a pretty low pitch because they're warehouses. We're able to cover almost every foot in solar. It's at early conversations, but it's definitely something that we would love to bring that aspect. We provide the internet, the electricity. In this case, I know you guys provide the electricity, so by no means, we're still early on, but just know we try and get creative and do stuff like that.
Well, we certainly appreciate you taking the time and
Thank you.
being motivated to partner and develop here in the city of Seaford.
Thank
We're
you.
very excited about the future of this project.
Awesome.
And I'll make sure to tell Travis that you are the one who brings the style to the project.
Thank you. If all goes well, upon project completion, this is about 125 to 150 million. So, thank you so
We
much.
appreciate it. Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Davis.
Thank you.
Okay. Do we have any final questions or comments from council? Any questions or comments from the public? Okay, move on forward.
All right, public hearing number 4, I want to introduce Ben Hearn, who is a professional engineer with George Miles and Buer. Oh, Mr. Mears is here. Excellent. Our Director of Public Works is also here. This, as council approved us proceeding with a City of Seaford to accept a $1.535 million loan from the Delaware Water Pollution Control Revolving Fund. That project was for Phase 1 of the Martin Farms sewer relocation. That's located within our city limits, Rodney, Reed, and McKean Street. And the project is generally outlined as installing approximately 1,750 linear feet of 12-inch gravity sewer main along West Locust Street and Rodney Street, 185 linear feet of 10-inch gravity sewer main along West Locust Street, 7 manholes and 36 new laterals. About half the development there. We're going to do one half first and then another half second. The purpose of this public hearing is obviously to accept public input. We are required to have 2 to accept this loan in accordance with Section 35I of the city's charter. After 2 public hearings related to the debt to be incurred, the City Council can adopt a resolution that to the effect, it has to be 5 council members voting in the affirmative after the second public hearing, and then once we sign that resolution and it gets approved, we can send it up and we can enter into the debt. So this is public hearing number 1 of 2. The next one will actually be held, is scheduled for April 22nd, so the last council meeting of the month. Certainly, Mr. Mears, our Director of Public Works, or Mr. Hearn, our project manager, professional engineer, can answer any questions related to the project or the financing through the state of Delaware that the council might have.
Okay, do we have any questions from council for Mr. Hearn? Any comments? Any questions for Mr. Mears? Any comments? Any questions or comments from the public? Okay. All right. At this time, we're going to close the public hearing at 7:26 p.m.
So this is the findings of facts for the Habitat for Humanity subdivision. Property owner, Sussex County Habitat for Humanity. Property is located on the corner of East King Street and North Front Street. Tax map and parcels 431-5.00-208.00. The zoning C3 Riverfront Enterprise Zone. They're proposing to split the existing lot into 2 lots. Lot 1 being 4,704 square feet and 58.11 feet wide. Lot 2 being 4,784 square feet and 58.10 feet wide. Those do meet the requirements for the C3 zone, minimum 4,500 square feet and minimum 35 feet wide. Planning and zoning did make a recommendation to council for approval at their March 6th meeting.
Okay. At this time, I'll accept the motion.
Councilman Quinn, I'll make the motion to approve the request of Sussex County Habitat for Humanity, property owner of a lot located on East King Street, tax map and parcel number 431-5.00-208.00 for a subdivision of the referenced property into 2 lots for the construction of a 2-family dwelling as presented.
Okay, we have a motion from Councilman Quillen. Is there a second?
Councilman Holland, I second that motion.
A second from Councilman Holland. Are there any questions on this motion? If there are no questions at this time, I'll set the roll call vote, beginning with Vice Mayor Dan Henderson.
Based on the benefits to the community and the findings of facts previously stated, I vote yes.
Okay. Councilwoman Stephanie Grassett.
Based on findings of facts, yes.
Councilman Orlando Holland.
Based on findings of facts, yes.
Councilman Mike Bradley.
Yes, based on findings of facts.
And Councilman
Yes,
Alan
based on
Quinn.
findings and facts.
Thank you, Councilman.
Moving on to the findings of facts for the Cookout Restaurant. Current property owner is O&I Singh LLC. Property is located at 22928 Sussex Highway. Tax map and parcel 331-5.00-50.08. Zoning C2 Highway Commercial. They're proposing to demolish the existing building and rebuild a new 3,130 square foot restaurant, 49 paved parking spaces that meet the code requirement, a dual lane drive-through, new dumpster enclosure, maintaining the existing entrances and exits through the Seaford Village Shopping Center, and it does require approvals from DelDOT, State Fire Marshal, and Sussex Conservation. Planning and zoning also made a recommendation for approval March 6th.
Okay, at this time, I'll set the motion.
Councilman Quillen again, I'll make the motion to approve the request of O&I Singh LLC, property owner of 22928 Sussex Highway, tax map parcel number 331-5.00-50.08, for a preliminary site plan approved for the construction of an eating establishment with a drive-through, associated parking, and utilities as presented.
Okay, we have a motion from Councilman Quillen. Is there a second?
Councilman Holland, I will second that motion.
I have a second from Councilman Holland. Are there any questions on the motion? If there are no questions, I'll accept a roll call vote, beginning with Vice Mayor Dan Henderson.
Based on the general benefit to the community and the findings of facts previously stated, I vote yes.
Councilwoman Stephanie Grassett.
Based on findings of facts, I vote yes.
Councilman Orlando Holland.
Yes, based on findings of facts.
Councilman Mike Bradley.
Yes, based on findings of facts.
Councilman Alan Quillen.
Yes, based on findings of facts.
Okay.
For the last item for the public hearing for the Seaford Industrial Park Sketch Plan, owners Seaford Industrial LLC, properties located on Sussex Highway, tax map and parcel 331-4.00-19.00, zoning C2 Highway Commercial. The current plan is proposing a 12-building business park with mixed uses ranging from warehousing to indoor recreation, 2-story parking garage, and other paved parking. 3 additional pad sites available along Sussex Highway, and it does require approvals from DelDOT, Sussex Conservation, and the State Fire Marshal. Planning and Zoning did make a recommendation for approval at their March 6th meeting.
Okay, I'll accept the motion.
Councilman Quillen again, I will make the motion to approve the request for Seaford Industrial LLC, property owner of parcel of land on Sussex Highway, tax map and parcel number 331-4.00-19.00, for a sketch site plan approved for an industrial park as presented.
We have a motion from Councilman Quillen. Is there a second?
Councilman Holland, I second that motion.
A second from Councilman Holland. Are there any questions on the motion?
I have a question. We've tossed around the words industrial park and business park. I don't think they're interchangeable. I know the gentleman that presented said it was a business park and could possibly be an industrial park one day, but we're improving it as an industrial park. So are they interchangeable, or should it be a business park?
Good question.
I mean, strictly according to zoning, the property currently is zoned commercially, not industrially. So I think it would be more appropriate to revise it to business park.
Could we review the findings of facts one more time? Zoning is C2 Highway Commercial.
Correct.
I want to ask,
Business as opposed to industrial.
Will you
Would you
rephrase?
modify your motion originally?
Okay, Councilman Quillen, I would like to modify my motion. I'd like to approve the motion to request Seaford Industrial LLC, property owner of a parcel land on Sussex Highway, tax map and parcel number 331-4.00-190.00 for a sketch site plan approved for an business park as presented.
Okay, we have a revised motion from Councilman Quillen. Is there a second?
Councilman Holland, I will second that motion.
A second from Councilman Holland. Are there any questions on that motion? Okay, if there are no questions, I'll accept a roll call vote, beginning with Vice Mayor Dan Henderson.
based on the revised motion and the general benefit to the community and the findings of facts, I vote yes.
Councilwoman Stephanie Grassett.
Based on findings of facts, I vote yes.
Councilman Orlando Holland.
Yes, based on findings of facts.
Councilman Mike Bradley.
Yes, based on findings of facts.
And Councilman Alan Quillen.
Yes, based on findings of facts, and I think there's a lot of opportunity for our community here.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
And, all right, and no motion from number 4, so we're moving on to new business number 1. And our Director of Parks Recreation, Katie Hickey.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm a little shorter. Just kidding. Well, I do apologize. I have the low bidder information. I do not have the other three. We had 4 bids.
Council does have your memo in their
Okay,
package.
thank you.
Yes.
I apologize.
That's okay.
So we had 4 bids this past Wednesday for the Riverwalk railing installation project. And this is an extension of where Oyster House Park, it connects the fishing dock or pier. It would be 36-inch railing, more safety, better for safety, but still accessible for the people that fish down there. And it is our recommendation after research that we go with the low bidder, which is Marshall Property Management, for a total of $18,000.
Are there any questions for Director Hickey? Vice Mayor?
If awarded, when does it start?
It should start immediately after the award. We will get it sent out. We'll get the letter sent out, and once they receive that letter, they'll have 30 days to complete the project.
Thank you.
Councilman?
Just a quick question. Marshall Property Management, have we done work with them in the past?
No, they would be a new consultant, and I will make it clear, even though they are heavily focused on landscape management, they are in a partnership with Anderson Fence that has a lot of experience with the aluminum fencing that is coming, or railing, that is going to be put in.
Okay, thank you.
Any additional questions for Director Hickey? If there are no additional questions, I'll accept the motion.
Councilman Quillen, I'd like to make a motion to award the bid for the Riverwalk railing installation project to Marshall Property Management in the amount of $18,000.
Okay, we have a motion from Councilman Quillen. Is there a second?
Councilman Holland, I will second that motion.
Second from Councilman Holland. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, passes unanimously. New business number 2, and Director of Electric, Bill Bennett. You've had a busy night over there, Quillen.
Good evening, Mayor and Council, City Manager.
Good evening.
What I'm talking about right now is the city safety shoe policy. It was first adopted in 2002. Then it was revised in 2018, last revised in 2018, 7 years ago. And it has on there to periodically review and adjust for inflation if necessary. The changes I proposed tonight are minor changes. Under electric, we took out the operations coordinator, which we no longer have, and put in line crew superintendent. Under vendors, we added Vernon Powell. And then in the allowance for the electric, I recommended raising it 10% from $200 to $220. And for the other departments, raise it 10% from $150 to $165. And the difference in the boots is the line crew, their boots have to be taller, have to be steel shank, so you can use them for climbing, where the other departments don't have that.
Okay. Do you have any questions for Director Bennett? If there are no questions, I'll accept the motion.
Councilman Bradley, I'd like to make a motion to approve the recommended changes to the safety shoe policy as presented.
We have a motion from Councilman Bradley. Is there a second?
Councilman Holland, I will second that motion.
A second from Councilman Holland. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, it passes unanimously. Moving on to old business number 1, and Director Bennett once again.
Okay, I was here 2 weeks ago talking about some proposed changes to Chapter 6, the rules and regulations. After reviewing some changes made by other utilities, I'll propose some changes to Section 9A and B, Section 10A, Section 11C and D. This would bring us closer in line to the changes Delaware Electric Co-op made in January of 2024 that basically places a financial burden on the developers for 100% of the cost of extending the electrical distribution system into their development. The biggest change, this would be their responsibility now, where currently the city pays for transformers and meters. So,
Okay. Are there any questions for Director Bennett on old business number 1? All right, if there are no questions, I'll set the motion.
Councilman Bradley, I'd like to make a motion to approve the recommended changes to Chapter 6 of the Municipal Code, Electric Rules and Regulations as presented.
We have a motion from Councilman Bradley. Is there a second?
Councilman Holland, I will second that motion.
We have a second from Councilman Holland. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you, Director Bennett. Appreciate it. All right, now we move on to the reminder of meetings.
We only have one, sir. That's the municipal election, Saturday, April 19th, between the hours of 7 a.m. and 3 p.m. here at City Hall. Up for election is one council member for a 3-year term. We have 2 candidates. Councilman Orlando Holland has filed for re-election, and Jose Santos has filed for councilman. That's all I have, sir.
Thank you, City Manager. Moving on to liaison reports, Public Works and Wastewater Treatment Facility, and Councilwoman and Dr. Stephanie Grassett.
Starting with Public Works. Public Works in the past 2 weeks replaced a water service to 708 East Ivy Drive due to a leak. They had the contractor here to repair rust on the Calgon tanks at the Arbutus, I believe, Water Treatment Center. They had a contractor here as well for various road patches in Milled High Street near Royal Farms. They've been working on some irrigation lines on the golf course. A contractor was here to restripe the City Hall parking lot. They replaced and repaired numerous water meters in the system. They also installed an irrigation service on Houston Street, which I will put a little plug in, happens to be my house. I'm one of those homes that with our new regulation that we passed about meters and irrigations, I'm one of those homes that have in-ground irrigation but did not have a separate irrigation or meter pit. And I would encourage citizens who are in the same boat as me to take advantage of the opportunity the city is providing right now to install that irrigation well for you at cost for the actual parts versus the labor, so that you too can be in compliance. Also in Public Works, they had I've had some people out sick and they're running 2 men down, so they've got a lot done with less people here recently. In wastewater treatment and compost, they are still dealing with a floating biomass. The effluent is still looking good, but they are dealing with that on the surface. They have installed a new 20 horsepower BNR pump, which is working great. They have a blend tank cleaning scheduled for, I believe it should have happened today. They ordered a replacement motor for the grit conveyor. They're working on the annual pre-treatment report to the EPA. Started some of the annual FOG inspections, which I believe is oil, grease, what's the F? Fats, thank you. Fats, oils, and greases. And they met with the Brainerd rep to go over permit modification options. Over the next 2 weeks, they are planning to finish their budget, continue camera, sewer, mains on Front Street, installing a new water service on Pond Street, and replacing hydrants. And as usual, keeping the wastewater treatment plant up and running with no violations. And that is my report.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Moving on to Police and Fire and Vice Mayor Dan Henderson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Before I begin, the report's usually lengthy, so before everybody tunes to a different channel, I wanted to give a plug to Tip a Cup, which will happen on Thursday night at any Delaware Texas Roadhouse, or any Texas Roadhouse in Delaware. The hours will be 3 to 9. It's on the 27th. Our Seaford officers will be at the Seaford location, and any tips they receive for their services while they're serving you that night will go to Special Olympics. So I'll start out with that. I usually save that stuff for the end, but A lot of times, people tune to the news or something.
That's not true. Our ratings spike when you get on the microphone and vice versa.
I usually take my nap.
So I do have two complete reports from Fire Chief Wilson and Police Chief Kraft, beginning with Chief Wilson's report. Total calls for 2025 in the fire department are 318 calls for an average of 3.7 per day. March's numbers are 83 calls to date for an average of 3.3 calls per day. Under EMS, the total for 2025 is 1,091 calls, or an average of 12.9 calls per day. And March totals are 289 calls for 11.5 calls per day. I'll draw your attention to the district responses for fire, city, out of city, and assists. You can see that the numbers, the chief has added a category here with yearly totals to see how we're averaging. So 2025 totals are 123 in-city calls, 81 out of city, and 31 assists. Under EMS, there's 481 in-city calls, 277 out-of-city calls, and 44 assists. And you have earlier period columns there of 2024 and 2023 to compare. Under significant incidents, there was on 312, there was on West 9 Highway, there was a commercial electrical fire. There was in the city, actually out of the city, but it's within the city's jurisdiction. On 318, there was an assist for Station 71 at 19 North Market Street for an RV fire. 319, another out-of-city call, 26713 Ellis Mill Road for a working residential fire. And then a cooking fire on 711 Clementine Court on the 19th. All Seaford apparatus are in service except for the new A87. Under training, the last training was Wednesday, March 19th at 1900 hours for firefighter Mayday training, and that was at the Blades Fire Department, and that was presented by the Delaware State Fire School. The next training will again be at Station 71 for vehicle rescue, and that'll be on April 16th. You'll see a chart of training hours by the department members, and with the grand totals at the bottom there. Emergency medical services, A87, which was previously referenced, is back from roof repairs on the cab after it's purchased. The next step is installing the radios and CAD, computer-aided dispatch, to obtain a certificate to place the ambulance into service. The graphics were completed on March 8th, and the tagging and titling is completed. Under community events and service, there were 28 events, totals for 2025, 28 events, 310 personnel, and 822 hours committed. Seaford Volunteer Fire Department members attended the event at Heritage Shores to honor past Chief Michael Vincent's community service on March 13th. And our area is experiencing some radio communications issues, so the state DIVCOM and community radio will be testing over the next period of time. Firefighting has been very busy the first 3 months of 2025, and Seaford Volunteer Fire Department is 22% above call load in 2025 from same period of 2024. here's an honor to look for. Seaford Volunteer Fire Department members will be honored for their involvement in saving a life at Sussex County Phoenix Awards on Friday, April 4th at Del Tech in Georgetown. Now, some of these might have been joint responses, but these individuals will all be recognized. Some worked as a team, some are individual. But you have Molly Daisy, Kyler Martin, Robert Givens, Mika Eddy, Ron Marvel, Ben Obeer, Matthew Reed, Alan Jarman, and Bridget Johnson, will all be receiving those awards. So if you encounter those folks, please congratulate them on their service. In the Seaford Police Department, from March 10th to March 23rd, Chief Kraft reports there have been a total of 2,336 complaints. Under all crimes, there's 903. This is a total for the year so far. It goes down 15 burglaries, 7 burglaries, and 8 theft from vehicles. They are separated out for data and statistics reasons. 38 drug crimes, 5 overdoses, 1,127 all traffic tickets, and 15 DUIs and 120 crashes. 81 false alarms, which is still an issue, but it has been reduced over the last several years, and we're hoping to be able to reduce that down from the 2024 levels and maybe even lower than 2023 levels. The response to false alarms takes police officers away from service that could otherwise be helping out somebody in the community. Under all crimes, there were 130 in the period, 4 felonies, 25 misdemeanor, 5 violations, and 96 others. For an 85% clearance rate, which is slightly down from the previous period, but higher than average. There's a crime view chart that can be expanded on a larger screen so that you can see the time of day, the days of the week they're most active, and the times of day. There were 9 complaints, including assault, custody, fraud, homicide, larceny, stalking, and weapons violations for a 33% clearance rate. 5 drug crimes, 5 adult arrests, 2 search warrants. Under traffic, there were 130 traffic contacts, and over half of those resulted in, actually 67 of them resulted in citations with 28 warnings. 3 DUIs this period, 12 crashes, 5 non-reportable and 7 reportable. And in those, 3 were hit-and-run accidents. And it appears they were all on public streets. There's some significant incidents listed below, and I'll call your attention just to the second one for the homicide investigation. Seaford Police Department and CID responded to Nutter Park for a reported shooting involving 3 victims, one of whom was deceased. The homicide investigation was transferred to the Delaware State Police Homicide Unit and Seaford Police Department CID assisting. This is an active investigation, and all inquiries are referred to the Delaware State Police Public Information Officer. And I would like to make an announcement that there has been an arrest made. So we have a dangerous person off the street at this time. I'll leave the rest of the incidents to your discretion to look over as time permits. As under administration, as the chief mentioned earlier, I was present for the oath of office on Monday the 17th, and it was also an honor to attend the recruits' graduations ceremony up at Dover Middle School on Friday the 14th. On 3/18, Deputy Chief and city leadership, along with myself, toured the city with Congresswoman McBride, which was really nice to have her here. She was really, it was really eye-opening experience for her, and we hope to have her back when she can see the progress that's being made. It'll be tangible progress. Under community events, the Food On program is still going on, and under training, pardon me, the Spear Team training is ongoing twice a month, and I'm not sure why this was under training, but on the 10th, there was a station meeting and a retirement walkout for ceremony for Deputy Chief Rappa, which was well attended, and it was a good send-off for the former Deputy Chief. 3/13 and 3/20, there was car seat installation training certification for Corporal Maheda, and on 3/18 to 3/20, there was the CART team training, which is a child abduction response team. Detective Nanola and Corporal Hare participated in that. I cannot remember what the status of the cadets are. We have a couple in.
We're doing interviews.
Doing interviews,
this
right.
month,
So that program will be starting back up. And hopefully if we get all the positions filled.
We have 3 interviews.
Yeah, so that concludes my report.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. We'll move over to administration and Councilman Orlando Holland.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You attended the swearing in of new officers at the police department, along with the academy graduation. And he's also attended the tour led by Congresswoman McBride. And IT has resolved connectivity issues with the camera systems and attended various other events and meetings, and all the work is routine. And that concludes my report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman. Now over to electric and Councilman Mike Bradley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We've been doing some pole replacements in Seaford the past couple of weeks. Following areas: Delaware Avenue, South Hall, Hooper's Landing. They were set in the front, and also lines fed, and also towards the maintenance building. Also did work in Muirfield and Bel Air, cut trees on Pearl Street. There was also a meeting with the developer of Smoot Farms. Greg and Bill worked on the fiscal year 26 budget and presented it to Tricia. They both prepared an escrow letter for the new building at Herring Run Professional Park. Met with Demick for a discussion on their substation plan for the training yard. On a lighter note, if you noticed a quick blip on your electric a little after 7 last night, Piney the squirrel made a shocking ultimate sacrifice. And that concludes my report.
How do you follow that up? Thank you, Councilman Bradley. Over to Code, Parks, and Recreation, and Councilman Alan Quillen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll try to follow that one up.
Good luck.
Okay, I'm going to start off with code report. 111 permits have been issued in 2025, which is 11 more since our last meeting 2 weeks ago. Rental licenses are at 1,832. Rental license and rental inspections, routine inspections, and violation inspections are all ongoing. Large projects, Muirfield 1, Phase 4, still ongoing. Bel Air, single family, still ongoing in their final section in Bel Air. Western Sussex Business Campus, no update on that at this point. And I'd like to moved on to the Nylon Capitol location. We have a couple of pictures, Gary. Ah, there we go. Okay, there we are. This is the center part of where Woolworths used to be. That's where they actually going to have a drive-through going through there, going from the front side of the building to the back side of the building. That's all been demolished out of there. Getting some updates that there might be some structural problems there, but hopefully I think they'll get everything worked out on that too as well. So we're moving along pretty good on the Nylon Capitol Center. Looking forward to possibly having opening ceremonies for Community Bank here in the next several weeks. So that's keep on going. That's all I have on the codes. I'll move over to Parks and Rec. Been very busy here, getting ready for the spring season. New flags have been installed at the Kiwanis Park. Completed landscaping around the Park and Rec office and the shop. Privacy fence for trash cans at the swimming pool at Hooper Landing has been completed. And there's the pictures up there. As you can see, this will definitely block the trash cans on site there. They were lined up on the entrance going into the pool, so now this will be out of sight, out of mind. So that's a nice project that they've completed there. So thank you to Ms. Hickey's team for doing that, getting that done. Athletic fields for the youth soccer and men's softball have been prepped and ready for the spring season. Coaches, teams, referees, and have all been coordinated for youth soccer. Worked on several projects for the Brews and Cruise event, which is coming up on May 4th, 10th, excuse me, to be straight. Thank you very much. Looking very forward to that. That's going to be a downtown event from 12 to 4. It's going to be kind of like a mystery type of thing. So it's going to be very intriguing. I think Ms. Hickey's put a lot of work into it, so we thank you very much for that. Created and distributed flyers for the upcoming Lighted Up Blue Autism Awareness, which is going to be on April the 14th. Held bid opening for the Riverwalk railing installation project, which was approved tonight. And worked on the FY26 budget and slides for the presentation. That completes my report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Quillen. Really appreciate it. Want to bring up something the Vice Mayor reminded me of. We were very fortunate to have the opportunity to honor Mike Vincent for his time and his service to our community. Mike has dedicated his life to serving his community. It was an honor to attend that event. It was an honor to be there alongside councilmen and councilwomen and our city leadership. Charles and Trish were there as well, and we got an opportunity to give a gift to Mr. Vincent for his service, and it was an honor to present that gift to him alongside you men and women. So thank you for your attendance that night. It was a great evening. At this time, I will select a motion to hold an executive session for the purpose of discussing personnel.
So moved.
A motion from Vice Mayor Henderson. Do we have a second?
Councilwoman Grassett, I second.
A second from Councilwoman Grassett. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay.